All right, with us now, co-owner of the Boston Celtics, Steve Pagliuca. And Steve, the Celtics team starting out 6-3, got a win last night. You were in New York to watch that. What's your initial thoughts about your team?
Well, I was able to sit behind the bench, and it was fantastic because it's just such a together team. They enjoy playing together. They root for each other. So it's been a real pleasure to be associated with this team this year.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both look like they have a fire in their eyes this year, like they have something to prove. And I think Tatum's talked about it at length, you know, how bad it hurt losing in the NBA Finals. Private conversations with them, what do they tell you about this team?
They love the team. You saw last night, really moved the ball. Vonleh made a shot from the corner. You know, I think Tatum passed up a three, faked and threw it to him, or Jaylen threw it to him, and they trust their teammates. So they are possessed. They didn't like losing. You know, we were 2 games from winning the championship, and they want to get it again.
Malcolm Brogdon's been a huge addition for this team, and he's just got such a poise about him too. Even when he speaks to us in the media, he has such a commanding presence.
Yeah, he's extremely bright, a leader, plays hard, moves the ball. You know, just fantastic to watch him play.
You know, when you look at the job Joe MAZZULLA'S done, overall, what are your initial thoughts of him and what he's done so far?
I thought he's off to an extraordinary start under tough circumstances, you know, being thrust in 4 days before training camp. And what I observed is he's very disciplined, very organized, great communicator. He's calm under pressure. So he has all the characteristics of being a great coach, and the team's following him and doing really well.
What do you think the biggest...
We've lost 1 game. We've lost 2 games in overtime.
Right. 2 games in overtime to the same team.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest adjustment a first-year coach has to make, and a guy like Joe Mazzulla when he comes in?
You just have to process a lot, you know, going from assistant coach to coach, because you're in control of everything. Now Joe was ready for it because he's been here for 3 years. He was preparing offensive and defensive game plans. You know, he's run the gamut. He's been a head coach in college, so he's adapted very quickly. But he's extremely organized. I would call him an incredible communicator because he meets with Brad. He meets with the statistics folks. You know, Mike Zarin, Austin Ainge. Gets input from everybody, integrates the input into a game plan. It's been very successful so far.
Are you concerned at all about the defense giving up more points at this point? I mean, the defense in the second half of the season last year, from February on, was just fantastic. Will that come?
Well, first of all, we're playing at a faster pace, and so you're going to have a few more turnovers, which affects the defense. Second of all, we don't have Rob Williams.
Yeah,
so we're a little bit short on big guys, and hopefully Rob will be back in the next month or 2.
You know, we heard the news last week that Ime Udoka was going to go to the Nets. It sounded like it was a done deal. And I know there's not a lot you can say because of, you know, circumstances involved, but what is the latest on Ime to the Nets?
We're not commenting on any of that. We had a press conference and talked about it. All I can say is that I've been very proud to be associated with the Celtics organization because the Wick and Rich and Brad, highest integrity people I know, handled this in just a very professional way, getting outside counsel and trying to do the best thing for the team and do the right thing. So every action was dominated to do the right thing for everybody involved.
Okay. But in terms of this overall season, do you feel like Joe has command of the room?
Absolutely. They just happened to place us pretty close to the bench last night, so didn't see that much of the game because they're very tall people. So I watched a lot of the game on the jumbotron, but Joe had absolute command over every aspect of what was going on. It's just impressive to watch, and they listened to Joe. And Joe's not a screamer. He takes players aside quietly.
Yeah.
And all the players will tell you he's very straightforward, you know, straight talking, high integrity person, and they like being coached by him.
Steve, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's great to be here.
Busy week this week. 3 games this week.
A lot of games in November, so it's going to be a fun November.
Good stuff. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks a lot, dude.